Ever wondered if earthquakes are really natural? I mean, we're taught they just happen, right? Plates shift, ground shakes, end of story. But is it really that simple? What if I told you some people think they're not natural at all? That someone, somewhere, might be controlling them. Sounds crazy? Maybe, but let's talk about it. Because it's honestly kind of fascinating. And a little creepy. So, what even is an earthquake? Why does it happen? Okay, imagine the earth like an egg. Weird, right? But hear me out. The shell is like the earth's crust. Hard, but thin compared to what's inside. The white and yolk, that's the hot, gooey stuff beneath. Now picture that shell cracking. That's an earthquake. The Earth's plates are giant puzzle pieces, always moving. Sometimes they collide. Sometimes they slide past each other. When they get stuck, pressure builds up. Eventually, snap, they release all that energy and boom, the ground shakes. Buildings collapse. Sirens wail. It's nature doing its thing. Or is it? Here's the strange part. Some people believe earthquakes can be triggered, not just by Mother Nature, but by us, or by someone. You might be thinking, come on, how would that even work? Good question. One theory says it's all about energy. If you can pump enough energy into a fault line, you might nudge it just enough to trigger a quake. Sort of like tickling a sleeping dragon until it wakes up angry. Creepy image, huh? But how would anyone even do that? Enter HARP. Ever heard of HARP? It stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. Sounds fancy. It's an array of antennas in Alaska that shoots radio waves into the ionosphere. They say it's for studying the atmosphere, improving communications, even predicting weather. But some people aren't buying it. They think HARP is a weather weapon, or worse, an earthquake machine. Yeah, like something out of a Bond movie. Why do they say that? Because the ionosphere is this charged layer high above Earth. If you mess with it enough, you might cause ripple effects down below, in theory. Conspiracy theorists claim HARP can focus energy, beam it at fault lines, and trigger quakes. Is there proof? Not really. HARP scientists say it's impossible. They laugh it off. The rumors won't die. Especially after some big earthquakes that seemed weirdly timed, like the 2010 Haiti quake or the 2011 Japan quake and tsunami. Some people claim strange lights were seen in the sky before those quakes, like glowing clouds or flashes. HARP believers point at those and say, see, that's the ionosphere going crazy. But scientists say earthquake lights can happen naturally. It's rare, but real. The ground shifting can create electrical charges, which can cause flashes. So, who's right? Good question. It's hard to prove either way. But let's keep going. Because HARPE isn't the only suspect. Another theory? Nuclear testing. This one's not as sci-fi. It's a fact that big underground nuclear tests can trigger earthquakes. There's even a name for them: induced seismicity. Imagine setting off a massive bomb underground. Boom. The shock wave shakes the rock layers, and you can set off fault lines nearby. Governments used to do this during the Cold War, testing bombs deep underground to hide the blast. And yes, sometimes it caused quakes people could feel miles away. So in that sense, humans can cause earthquakes. It's not magic, just really bad planning, or maybe not so accidental. Because some conspiracy theories go further. They claim nuclear tests have been used deliberately to destabilize regions. Why would anyone do that, you ask? Maybe to sabotage an enemy, wreck infrastructure, create chaos without firing a single bullet. Dark stuff. Of course, no government admits this, but it's a scary idea. And it's not all ancient history. Today, countries have to announce when they test nukes. Satellites watch for the flashes. Seismic monitors pick up the tremors. But what about secret tests? Some say they still happen. Deep in remote deserts or under oceans. And who knows what that might trigger. Here's another weird fact. We even have technology to cause tiny quakes on purpose. It's called fracking. Oil and gas companies pump water deep underground to crack rock layers. Guess what happens? Small earthquakes. Thousands of them in some places. Usually minor, but sometimes strong enough to damage homes. So, yeah, humans are already messing with the Earth's crust. Maybe not for evil plans, just for money, which is arguably worse. I know that's dark humor, but let's not get too depressed, because here's the thing. Most earthquakes, still natural. The Earth is restless, always has been. Long before humans built antennas or nukes or drilling rigs. Remember the egg metaphor? That shell is always cracking somewhere, and there's no big villain behind most of it. But the idea that someone could weaponize earthquakes, that's enough to keep the conspiracies alive. Because let's be honest, it's not impossible to imagine governments trying. After all, they've tried to control weather, cloud seeding, hurricane modification projects, even Operation Popeye in Vietnam, where the US tried to make it rain more to mess up enemy supply routes. Yes, that really happened. So when someone says, hey, maybe they're trying to control earthquakes, people listen. Because history has shown we're willing to mess with nature, and not always wisely. But is it really happening? HARP says no. Scientists say no. Most evidence says no. Conspiracy theorists say, of course they deny it. Classic cover-up logic. So, what do you think? Is it paranoia? Or healthy skepticism? Because the line is blurry sometimes. Here's something else to chew on. There are places on Earth that have tons of quakes naturally. Japan, Indonesia, California. They sit on major fault lines. It's not a mystery why they shake so much. But when a quake hits somewhere unusual, people get suspicious. Like, wait, why here? Who caused this? It's human nature to look for meaning, even where there may be none. And let's be real, it's comforting in a weird way to blame someone. If humans caused it, maybe we can stop it. If it's just the Earth doing its thing, that's scarier. because we're powerless. Nobody likes feeling powerless, so we invent stories. Villains, secret labs with earthquake guns. Makes for a good movie plot, doesn't it? But reality, usually less exciting. Except when it isn't. Because let's not forget those nuclear tests did cause quakes. And fracking does cause quakes. It's not all fantasy. We have the power to shake the earth. Just not with sci-fi death rays from Alaska. At least, not that we know of. Wink. Okay, let's be honest. Most scientists think the idea of controlling big quakes is laughable. It would take absurd amounts of energy. You can't just zap a fault line and make it jump on command. It's like trying to push a car with a feather. But smaller quakes? Yeah, we've done that. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes by accident. So the truth is messy. It's not all natural versus all conspiracy. It's both. Humans can trigger earthquakes in limited ways, but the giant, catastrophic quakes that devastate cities, those are still nature's domain, at least for now, unless someone invents an actual earthquake gun, which, let's hope not. I don't think insurance companies could handle it. So where does that leave us? Should we worry about secret HARP bases plotting to shake our cities? Probably not. Should we worry about what happens when humans drill, blast, and pump stuff underground without thinking? Yeah, we probably should, because even if there's no Bond villain behind the curtain, we can be our own worst enemy. Funny how that works. So next time the ground shakes, ask yourself, was it just the earth reminding us who's boss? Or was someone messing around where they shouldn't? Or maybe both? Who knows? Life's full of mysteries. And that's what makes it interesting. If you want to know more, watch the full video on our page, or share your thoughts in the comments. Because honestly, I'd love to hear what you think. Are earthquakes really natural, or is someone controlling them? Let's talk about it.